So let's have a look at this Home Hub in a bit more detail. And the idea of this set of examples, so as I said, there's going to be a whole series of them throughout the course. The idea is to simulate the interaction between a hub, one of these devices that sits in your home, and its connected smart devices. So things like the lights and the heating and the music player. This is sometimes known, this paradigm is sometimes known as the Internet of Things, because you have all these devices that are talking to each other. If this was working in real life, you'd also need a voice recognition module, so that when somebody spoke, those words would be turned into text, and then the Home Hub would act on them. And also, you'd obviously need the devices like the lights and the heating and so on, that all have their own little controllers connected, perhaps via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, some way. So we've just got a simulation. It won't do any of those things, unfortunately. It's just really to show you. It's a nice example because it allows us to demonstrate lots of different types of thing connected to one thing, and it also allows me to demonstrate lots of different different object-oriented techniques. So things like classes, things like objects, GUIs, graphical user interfaces, encapsulation methods, abstraction, polymorphism. We'll get to all of those in the next 10 lectures. So don't worry about those for the moment. Let's have a look at what it does. We're going to start with a simple controller that's just got 3 devices connected and what I call a control loop. Okay, so here's the code. You'll see I've got 4 lists here. So the device names, device ons, so whether the device is switched on or not, the type of thing that we're controlling in the device, so the temperature, I should say. So the device names, for example, heating, the light, the music player. Whether the device is on, well, it's not on yet, so none of those things are on at the moment to start with. And when it's switched on, the thing it will control is the temperature, okay, or for the heating, or for the light, it's the brightness, or for the music player, the volume. And then there's the default setting of 18, 357. So those are the initial settings. The temperature is set to 18 degrees C, the brightness is 350 lumens, the volume is 7, whatever volume is measured in. And then we have some code which runs through the device names. Okay, so there's a loop there, runs through the device names and just says the device has been initialized, just prints that out to the user. It asks the user what their name is and then prints out hello and their name. And then we've got this main control loop down the bottom here. This is just going to keep running until the user decides to stop. So it just runs while true. So this while true just means it always runs until the user puts no input in, and then it will finish. And then it just the Home Hub prints bye-bye and the name you've typed in. Okay, so what happens in that main control loop is that what we've got to do is the user's got to issue a command like turn the heating up, turn the music on, those kind of things. And then the Home Hub has got to work out what the user meant. And it's not just a case of the user doesn't have to have exactly the right command every time. The Home Hub does a little bit of what's called parsing, trying to figure out what it is that the user means. So it tries to figure out which device is chosen, and it tries to figure out what the user wanted. Obviously, in real life, this would be done by speaking, and then the words spoken by the user would then be converted into text, which could then be parsed in this way. So the command is, if we look at this loop at the bottom here, this while true loop. Okay, so the command is input by the user. It says the Home Hub says what next and the name you've typed in, and the user types in their command. And then the Home Hub converts that command to lowercase because it doesn't want to deal with, it's harder to deal with uppercase. If the user's typed system off, then it breaks out of the loop. So system off is the finishing command that will stop the loop from running, stop the Home Hub from running. And then it in this loop at the bottom here, this is inside the main loop. It goes through all the device names and it tries to see if the device in this list of device names is chosen by the user's command. And if it is, then it sets the device chosen to device. And how does it do that? So this chosen function at the top here is given a device from the list of device names, and it just looks to see if that device is listed in the command. So if I say heating off, it will figure out that, okay, heating obviously isn't, if we go back to our list of names, heating is the first one, so if I say heating, it'll figure out that's in the command. If I say ceiling light, that's also okay, or music player. If I say spotlight, then it won't find any device because we haven't got a device by that name. Okay, so that loop basically just returns true if it finds the device name in the command that the user's typed in. And the loop down the bottom here loops through all the device names to check which one is chosen. So obviously you have to have unique device names, otherwise it's not going to work. Okay, there's the some more details. So we prompt for a command, we exit if they type in system off, and then we loop over the device names and check if each is mentioned in the command. So for example, if the user types in music player on, that should be recognized as being the music player. But we've also got this line here that replaces any spaces in the device with nothing. So it removes any spaces. So if they type in music player with no spaces, again, that will get recognized. Okay, what does it do then? So having identified a device, if it's failed to identify a device, so I've said the spotlight on, it doesn't have a spotlight, the device chosen will be none, and so it'll just say, sorry name, I do not understand that. Otherwise, it's this block of code here. It looks, it finds out which device it is, so which number in the list it is, and then if on is in the command, it will switch the on variable for that device to true. If off is in the command, it'll switch it to false, and also it gives a message in those cases. If up, it changes the settings up by 1 or -1 if it's down, and if it's play and the device is the music player, it says the music player is playing, or if it's pause and the device is the music player, it says the device is paused. Anything else it doesn't understand. So for all our devices, we've only got 3 of them. For all of them, we can turn them on, we can turn them off, we can turn them up, we can turn them down. And for the music player, with these 2 blocks down here, there's a particular specialist device. We can start it to play, or we can stop, pause it. Okay, so some example output would be something like this. As you see, if you remember from the code, it lists all the devices it's initialized. It asks you for your name, you type that in. If I say heating on, it says heating is on. It's just turned it on. If I say heating up, remember the temperature for the heating was set to 18 initially, it sets it to 19. I have to specify every command correctly. So if I say music play, it's not going to work. It has to be music player play. Okay, and we could change that, but for the moment, let's stick with the way it's set up. So music play won't work. But if I say music player on, it turns the music player on. And if I say music player play, it says the music player is playing. And then I can say system off, and then it finishes execution. Okay, so that's our home hub, and that's how the code works. And we're going to work on making that much better. I'll talk about that towards the end. Okay, I'm going to finish that video there and move on to the next one.